right, I'm Lisa Peetz, and I am one of the sports psychology consultants for Sports Psychology Institute Northwest. I get referrals from all ages. We go pretty young. I think the youngest I've gotten so far referred to me is 10 or 11,
Great.
But I know some people have gotten younger. Typically the parent tells me that they're very nervous, they're having trouble when it comes to the competition part of things. So you kind of get that, they do well in practice, but when they get to the game, they kind of freeze up. So usually anxiety. Starting off with the cons, sometimes it can take over a kid's life. Certain sports that start out at very young ages and have very rigorous training. A great example, gymnastics. It starts at a very young age, and those long hours can sometimes make it difficult to find a life outside of that sport. So that's something that people have to weigh, is how much time the sport is taking up. That's one of the cons. And then also with just some of the sports, being able to find a well-organized program so that they get the support they need as they're trying to develop, and just trying to keep them healthy and safe. Those are some of the cons. For the pros, if you can find well-structured programs, they teach kids a lot about responsibility, being able to deal with tough situation, being able to handle pressure, learning how to kind of push their limits in a structured environment, work with others, set goals. So there's a lot of pros, I think, and they tend to outweigh the cons if you really look at it. When you're young, your identity is kind of all over the place. So for some kids, mentally it gives them a chance to kind of figure out who they are and what they like and what they don't like, trial and error. It gives them a chance to kind of overcome some of their fears in a structured environment. And when you get really young in the sports, what's nice is there's less competition, so it's more about let's have fun, let's learn skills. So they kind of learn how to interact with others without the pressure, and then slowly kind of build into that. I think it can affect them positively and negatively. Positively, you can make connections with people. You learn to work together as a team with people that you may or may not like, and you learn, to kind of get through some of those differences. Negatively, sometimes, like I said, if a sport takes up your whole life, you might center your friends around that sport. So it's kind of important to make sure kids are branching out socially outside, so taking kind of those skills of making friends in the sport outside to other areas. This is a common one. I think especially in youth sports, it's hard because you're letting your kid kind of, listen to another adult, and you're having to trust another adult to make decisions for your kid and what they feel is best. So some of the ones, you hear are parents undermining everything the coaches are saying, and kind of, saying, well, you do this instead, I know what I'm talking about, I'm the parent. To parents that are very loud on the sidelines, almost overshadowing the coach, kind of almost teaching negative sportsmanship. I think it's important for parents to be involved and kind of practice and work with their kids on skill development. The parents who almost make it like, let's have another full-blown practice. I've seen that in some situations where it's like, well, we need to work harder, so you're going to practice with the team, and then and that can kind of burn out or frustrate or confuse them. I think parents need to be parents. They need to be there and be good role models like we would expect of anyone else, you know, demonstrating good sportsmanship, again, being at games a lot of times, especially now I think with people working so much, they tend to think of sports as a way to, you know, extend their child care. So being present at games and providing support, listening, making sure you're listening and letting your kid kind of tell you things and not acting like you know it all. I think first and foremost, making sure that the program goal is for kids to have fun. You know, I've read many articles talking about making sure, you know, there's equal playing time at the younger ages. Making sure practices are more active, not a lot of standing around, that you're interacting with the kids. Kind of teaching them that, yeah, it's, you want to win, you know, there is some competition in the world, but that also achievement comes from just developing your own skills, and so you can have personal victories. Kind of that balance between having the coach be the coach and the parent be the parent, and there's not that confusion that could cause stress.